Hormones and neurotransmitters. There's heaps of really important ones that we need, but I'm going to focus on a few that are important for the realm of getting to sleep, staying asleep, and general repair. We're going to talk about melatonin, serotonin, GABA, vitamin D, vitamin B, and acetylcholine. All right, endogenous melatonin, meaning melatonin that the body produces, is a hormone that starts the sleep cycle. It helps wind down the systems of the body and also interacts with the immune system in an anti-inflammatory sort of way. We then have serotonin, a neurotransmitter and hormone. It helps wake us up in the morning along with a bit of cortisol and adrenaline to get us going. You've probably heard of it as the natural happy drug. So melatonin and serotonin are very much connected to our circadian rhythm. This is our 24-hour body clock that is highly affected by and linked to the light and darkness cycle we experience. Obviously, again, this is a very complex, interconnected, and highly nuanced system like the rest of the body, but just a basic understanding can help guide our sleeping practice. When light enters the eye in the morning, serotonin starts getting released. It balances mood and is involved in wakefulness. Depleted serotonin levels can lead to depression. Conversely, melatonin gets released from the pineal gland when it experiences darkness. It is pivotal in slowing down the systems of the body so the body can sleep and repair. Can you see how the melatonin that we produce in our brain is a chemical for sleep readiness, and serotonin is a chemical of activity? Melatonin literally gets released at night when it experiences darkness. The body starts to think that it's got nothing to do, time to shut down and repair. Have you noticed that the earth has its cycles? There are seasons, predictable days of light and dark, tides. All biological beings have an internal circadian rhythm that is in tune with the spinning of the earth. Deeper still, every cell in our body has a circadian rhythm clock, and even every cell in a plant also has a circadian rhythm clock. Unfortunately, technology and artificial light has influenced us not to be in tune with our circadian clocks. Our minds and bodies are being influenced to be out of sync with our natural environment. So we aren't getting the natural wind down to a sleep-ready state than we did before the advent of TV, social media, and artificial light at night. What's really interesting is that there are studies coming out saying that artificial light at night is affecting plant and animal circadian rhythm. Words used were perturbing their behavior and survival. Interesting, hey? It almost must be said that there is a relationship between melatonin and cortisol rhythms. Melatonin secretion typically occurs during low cortisol secretion. So that reinforces the breathing techniques we did in the previous module, because cortisol is associated with fight or flight response, action. So keep doing the breathing exercise. Look at this diagram. It's a 24-hour clock. Noon at the top, midnight at the bottom. When we are balanced and in tune with the light-dark cycle, this is generally what happens. Melatonin secretes at around 9 p.m., depending on what part of the world you live in. It then stops secreting at about 7:30 a.m. When light hits the eyes, we are going to start secreting serotonin. So in an ideal world, if we were to properly sync up with this routine, we'd have way better sleep. I hear people talking about going camping for a week to reset their body clock. Get away from the influence of technology and artificial light, which prolongs our ability to be active. We used to be more in tune with the sun, and our bodies and brain repair better when we are synced up with the Earth's light and darkness cycle. If you'd like to research this further, look up terms like master gland, circadian rhythms, pineal gland, and master clock. Gamma-Aminobutyric acid, otherwise known as GABA, is a neurotransmitter. It is the most important inhibitory neurotransmitter, which basically means it helps lower activity in the brain so we can get to sleep. It helps move the brain and body into a lower gear. I've been researching GABA for a while now, trying to figure out when it gets released, like what triggers it. From what I can ascertain, researchers don't know as much about it as they do melatonin or serotonin. Having said that, they do know what stops it from being released, and it fits nicely into my narrative of the autonomic nervous system. So factors that reduce GABA: lack of sleep, that kind of insinuates good sleep propels good sleep. Lack of glutamine and minerals like iron, zinc, and magnesium. Low vitamin B1 and B6. High amounts of caffeine. Alcohol withdrawal, like a hangover. This is because alcohol mimics the effects of GABA and desensitizes the GABA receptors. Remember, the goal of this course is to rely on our ability to regulate our thoughts, behaviors, physiology, and emotions. We want to enjoy alcohol, not too much unfortunately, and not use it as a sleeping aid. This is because we will build up a tolerance for it, and then that can lead to all sorts of problems. So my narrative on the autonomic nervous system: apparently too much loud music and loud noise can reduce GABA. I find this interesting because think about it, loud noise traditionally would indicate that something is dangerous, something to be aware of. It would trigger the fight or flight to some degree to take action. The major concept that reduces GABA is stress. So loud noises can be distressing and cause the body to get into a state of vigilance or hypervigilance. We know that stress definitely causes hypervigilance. The body and brain is primed to take action. So think about it. Back in the day, before technology, living under the stars, say we knew that there was danger around us at night, like a dangerous animal or a warring party that could come in the night. The body and brain have a mechanism to be woken up so it can take action, whether that be fight or run away. So what I'm saying, if I was the autonomic nervous system, particularly the fight or flight, I wouldn't want to give the brain GABA to fully slow down. I'd want the brain to be able to wake up quite easily so it can take action when the time comes. This fits in with the way I think about the fight or flight. Uncle Fighty, when he is calling the shots, really wants to take action. So if you're going to bed in an elevated fight or flight state, not only are those physiological responses that keep us active are going to affect our quality of sleep, it's going to affect the amount of GABA being released, and that is the primary neurotransmitter to slow the brain down. If there actually is real physical threat that we know might be coming, we want to be able to wake up in a heartbeat. If we have a baby that needs attention, we want to be able to wake up in a heartbeat to look after that baby. But if there is really nothing to attend to during our sleeping hours, we want to reassure the brain that it is safe, so it can secrete the appropriate amount of GABA that our bodies naturally produce under normal circumstances. So moral of the story, we want to maximize the release, effectiveness, and efficiency of melatonin and GABA for sleep. Let's call these sleep-ready chemicals. More on serotonin for waking up in the wind up to wakefulness section. We need to do things that encourage these chemicals' synthesis and release. The major thing for melatonin is darkness. Use an eye mask or blackout curtains, particularly if there is a street light outside or if you're a shift worker. You've really got to manipulate your light and dark the best you can so you can trigger melatonin. GABA, my hypothesis, is that it's more connected to the autonomic nervous system. So everything I said about rest and digest is appropriate to GABA. Feel safe, relax some more, and enjoy the feeling of doing nothing when laying in bed.